2, 1. We didn't need to clap, but it's okay.
Sorry, I.
All right, not for real though. So, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Loft. We're gonna keep that in. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
I thought I was supposed to clap.
I think we have a habit of doing like keeping off claps in. You know, I think we did it last episode. And speaking of that, it's been a while, but we're coming back with another banger video. And today we're gonna talk about the upcoming games that have been shown and or displayed at the Nintendo, Xbox, and Sony showcases that happened like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
Ubisoft as well. It's essentially the whole industry because E3 is kind of falling apart. Yeah, so anyone who wants to kind of hold their own conference now realizes they can. Just in the era of like a post-COVID world where you're like, oh yeah, all you need is like a camera and like a wall. And like to hire like an actor to like read
60
these lines.
hired paid actors to react.
And it's like it's your own press and like it's just it's just the way the industry has shifted, you know.
Right, yeah. But despite the breakup of the industry, we actually saw a lot of interesting and cool games with a lot of potential, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're also doing a little bit of a mid-year check-in here because we did a beginning of the year predictions. We could kind of check in on a couple of those games if you're down, because I think a few of them were.
How's Hogwarts Legacy doing?
Yeah, or Guardians of the Galaxy.
#1 in sales this year.
Was it Guardians or was that what was the other one? Was it Suicide Squad? I'm like,
what happened? What happened to Guardians?
Was it Guardians was a big bomb? Was that this year? Or was that last year?
I think that was this year.
That was this year.
Yeah. Featured like alongside the movie.
Really came and went.
I won't take Hogwarts slander. That game was fun as fuck.
I don't know. It looked pretty mid to me.
What?
No, here we go again. It's already happening. We're already on this shit.
Into it. It was a good time. It was a good time. 25 hours. Yeah.
I'm glad he had a good 25 hours.
I think it'll make you feel better that I haven't even bought it yet because I feel like it's not worth 60. What is it?
I'm not gonna get around to it. Yeah.
I'll buy it when it's on sale, but I still will. I still think it did okay for what it was intended to do.
Yeah, and games are getting to the $70 range too.
Yeah, I don't look like the motherfucker that will pay $70 to play Diablo 4.
That's true.
Why wouldn't you just play PoE? It's free. Controversial take.
Not really.
Yeah. No. But with that aside, I want to start off with a particular game that I have a fondness for deep within my heart. Fable is back, baby.
Ooh,
Fable is back, and this time it's being presented by the studio that did Forza.
Take-Two.
Yeah, Take-Two. And from what I've seen, I actually talked to Kanoa about this today a little bit. From what I've seen, I'll dissect it and break it down. Graphically, beautiful. So it's like Forza is notorious for like photorealism and shit. Yeah. So people mistaked the trailer they did as a not like in-game, like non-in-engine material rendered, but it was actually running on an Xbox Series X, I believe.
Right.
Which is pretty astounding for the graphics that it displayed. It looked really phenomenal. But the negatives, which kind of threw me off. The trailer was like a whole Jack and the Beanstalk like riff. What I get that it's supposed to be funny, but like what the fuck is that? And I told
like, what is the original Fable?
Yeah,
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Oh yeah, all you have to hit is like 2007 British humor. It's not a hard nail to hit with a hammer that big. It's really easy, for real. But I was talking to him, and it's like less about like the riff they're running with there, but like, dude, if the whole plot is about being a little person and I'm fucking fighting a giant, I'm actually gonna be pretty upset. Dude, Fable is literally the last Fable. Fable 3 was a kingdom sim, effectively, alongside a RPG plot. Fable 2 and 1 were just the classic representations of a fantasy hero good or evil, so to speak, with a binary choice system. So it comes from a heritage of games that have like exterior factors that make the game fun. Even another YouTuber, Mr. Matty Plays, brought this up, but he was saying, for example, the blacksmithing job profession, or any of the job professions really, in Fable 2 were interactive skill-based games, which they weren't that hard, but it was like tap A to hit this specific meter type thing. And inside the world, it was something to do outside of being the hero with the destiny thrusted upon you. You know what I mean? So it was something, Lionhead Studios, they gave the players opportunities and tools to immerse themselves further in the world that they created. Which, if we're playing Jack and the Beanstalk, I don't think there's not fucking much immersion there for me.
Why are you saying Jack and the Beanstalk? There was no beanstalks in the trailer.
Yeah, there was. She rode up on the beanstalk.
Dude, she planted those magic beans.
Yeah, she rode up.
She was like,
I just remember seeing a small person. That's all I can remember from
there was a big ass. You may know who this is, but he's the British comic with. Fuck, this is such a terrible description. He has curly black hair, glasses. He was in what was he in? Maybe he was in Hot Fuzz. I don't. He's like
he probably was.
He's like a B tier. He's like
was in Hot
he's
Fuzz.
B tier British actor. I can't fucking. I can't play. Yeah. His name's Simon something, perhaps.
That doesn't help.
It's not Simon Pegg, bro.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Simon Pegg.
No, he's orange haired.
Is he?
Yeah, Simon Pegg's like Shaun of the Dead.
I'm not even gonna look it up. I know he's
another Simon, but
Simon something.
That's the Simon
I could be mistaken, but no, it had to have been a Jack and the Beanstalk riff. There's no fucking way he was just a fucking big person.
I just think you
the trailer
get bigger as the game progresses.
If that is what happens, I already told him I'm gonna destroy my keyboard. I'm gonna actually because I've been let down enough this year. It's like going through bad relationships, and you think the next one's gonna be a lot better than this, and it never fucking is, and it just gets worse. I can't take another one.
Yeah, I love you're that nerd online where you're like, this guy, like his whole life is melting down because the plot line of the Fable universe was about Jack and the Beanstalk. And like everyone is just like, I know it's not that great, but like no one understands why it unravels your whole life.
Dude, yeah, it's bad.
Your life progressively gets worse and worse.
Yeah, bro, it's like comic book nerds when they make a black Superman or something and they go, this can't be possible.
Exactly. You found your niche.
Yep, exactly. It is my thing. I love that shit so dearly, but I won't hog all the attention.
Well, you brought it up as it's part of the Microsoft presentation, which overall, it's very interesting. There's just they definitely talked about a lot of stuff, but I mean, they announced the Cyberpunk DLC.
So I want to talk about the requirement changes on the PC specs for the new Cyberpunk DLC.
Mm-hmm. Please,
big changes. Doesn't support hard drives anymore. Only solid state drives can launch Cyberpunk.
Yep, you need SSD.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was the case.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really trying to keep the press, good on the game then, if that's the case.
I mean, which is fair. That's as a person who works with computers, bro, I'd be shipping hard drives to third world countries and shit. There's no disrespect or anything, but that's some get with the times old man type shit. They're almost no reason. There's no reason almost to have a hard drive.
The game's 100+ gigs as well.
It's only people who have to update the rigs that are ever upset. They're
just
God damn it, is this the game that's going to make me do it?
Which is fair, I guess, but. Go on, because the list of the other hardware updates are
it's
worse.
Crazy. It gets worse. So I'm pretty sure I don't have it pulled up, but the minimum specs are now a 7th gen Ryzen processor, which came out last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Whoa!
For the minimum spec.
Dude,
it's like a mid-tier 7th.
I think
gen
I
chip.
can barely. I think I have a Ryzen 5. Maybe I have a Ryzen 7.
I have a 5th gen Ryzen 7, and not even a good one at that.
I was scared when I seen that.
Yeah, it's wild. The graphical updates are also anything not from 2020 and above get out of here. You're not running this shit anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know about all that, but like my rig ran the first Cyberpunk fine, and my rig is like 5 years old at least at this point.
And the like, funny part is, I'm pretty sure they said if you could run the game before, you can still run the game.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they said that.
I think it'll be all right.
I think they really just want to, again, avoid that bad press because the game came out and was broken on consoles.
Yeah.
And that's all anyone could talk about. But I mean, the game is just very it's just very shallow. I mean, it's another like No Man's Sky situation where they like they promised more game than they had to deliver. And they even were like rigging up custom gear for their like trailers, you know, that like wasn't representative of the actual gameplay.
Right.
And like when the consumers, you know, found out about it and they had been anticipating this game for multiple years.
Yeah.
It just like didn't end up well, you know.
The
Like
really
the company really got dragged through the mud.
They've saved face a little though. I've played a good probably 10 hours of it in the last 3 weeks or so, and it's very, very different from day one. I will say
I played it a lot when it came out, and like I thought it was good. Like bugs aside, I thought there's a gameplay loop there that was engaging.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about the story that ever grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
And the more story I played, the more I was just like, oh yeah, this isn't like even really working for me.
I found myself getting really into the lore of the entire world they built there. It's pretty interesting to me.
I just, for me, it was just like there's a real lack of player expression.
That's
in
true.
The world.
The Johnny Silverhand's character, spoilers on a game that came out however long ago.
Yeah.
The Johnny Silverhand's character, I think, when you're playing as him, is the best parts of the game, and that's really lacking throughout the entire game. I would say.
Yeah, which is odd. Like, why not just make that the protagonist?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, that's
if
the
you're like
main character that you
with,
play
like,
that has voice lines, and that really adds to the immersion when your characters, because V is silent throughout most of the game. Like, you don't really get to choose his, like, he talks, but you know, you get one set of voice line. Like, it's really basic.
Damn.
Yeah.
It feels like Fallout
bad.
4 levels of like unexpressive dialogue where you're just like, oh yeah, okay.
And
I'm
the
really just clicking
don't really
buttons
lead to anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I can bargain some extra money out of this guy. Like that's the maximum of what I can do with dialogue though.
Yeah.
It feels pretty bad.
Which is just why I say like
I hope this DLC fixes.
Well, I don't think a DLC can fix it. Like I feel like it's a fundamental issue with the game was just like the problem with games that are this big is that you have to make a lot of choices for them.
Definitely.
6 years before you start making the game, and then you're beholden to those moves, and anything you do to like shift against that, you know, can like actually break the actual like code and engine of your game.
Yeah.
And they're just, the games are such big investments. Like then they also, you know, just become, okay, we got to make this very broad so it sells a lot of money too.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it sells a lot of units. And it just kind of, it blands out the game essentially, because they just kind of had to water down their initial ideas and concepts. Because I think all the things we were pitched on were exactly what the dev team wanted to do when they came into this thing, but
couldn't complete in time.
Yeah, and they weren't able to make this a real RPG, you know, because like Cyberpunk is an actual RPG game system.
Yeah.
It's like you're saying you're gonna make D&D the video game, right? Like people are gonna expect a little bit more, you know, like probably like impact in the world.
I would just say, well,
also, side note, shout out Baldur's Gate coming out in August, boys.
Argument, a buddy of mine, I said D&D-esque game, and he said it can't be a D&D game if there's no dice involved. If there's no dice involved, it is a fantasy game. There's no
fair.
D&D.
I just say it because it comes from a
really.
Yeah, there's dice rolls.
Oh, okay. Yep. Sign me up.
Well, Baldur's Gate's like the original, like role playing games just come from D&D in general.
Yeah.
But in that tradition in video games is continued. So, you know, whether or not, you know, you build on the actual fundamentals, you still are a part of that system.
Yeah.
And then Cyberpunk as well is like, it's a different system, you know, entirely
within the same sphere.
Yeah. It's just like, with all that in mind, they probably had, you know, the opportunity to do something different here, and it feels like they kind of were trying to make a game that other developers had already made, you know, like it was their first foray into like gunplay.
Yeah.
And like, I thought it was pretty satisfying, and like some of the stealth was pretty good. But the same way in like the Witcher universe, like the combat's pretty solid, pretty fun, but like it kind of hit a cap on it. It's not a lot of player expression within it.
Right. Yeah.
Outside of just being good and like killing enemies like perfectly, quote unquote.
Yeah, it works the way it's intended.
Yeah, but it has it's a small hill to kind of conquer, you know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. Fallout 76 also was announced with like Atlantic City, another one, and that's exactly.
Shout out Todd Howard. Hey, we rep Todd Howard in this loft, in this household.
No, you do.
Oh yeah,
dude. This guy, you're about to lose third mic, dude.
Nope.
Listen, Todd Howard is our Lord and Savior.
Okay, that's fine. But Fallout 76.
Listen, it was bad on delivery.
It's terrible.
Listen,
and that's why I brought it up in the same breath as the Cyberpunk game, where I'm like, they're built on some fundamentals that might not be there to work. But actually, this is a whole new iteration, right? Is this a DLC, the Atlantic City?
I have no clue.
Well, okay,
I didn't. I'm going to be honest.
I think
I just saw it on a list.
I think it's an add-on. Okay, because think of it like this, right? So, like, if Fallout 76 came out on the standard and the expectation of it being the next Fallout, which some people may have, but I think they're mistaken because they don't understand, like, what MMORPGs are. So, like, of course it came in. It was buggy. I'll admit it. It was bad. But the difference is that it's a live service game. So its lifespan and its life expectancy is far longer than, for example, Fallout 4, even with a lack of gameplay elements, because you're playing with your friends. So you guys create challenges. They expect the player base, I'll say past tense, the player base to kind of just like immerse themselves and create their own environment, their own faction war type idea. But obviously that didn't work out because there was nothing to do.
Right.
Up until they introduced the nuclear bunkers inside of vaults, where like it was like pseudo raids where you had to get in through dangerous enemies and then you can nuke certain areas of the map. I think that's where it tuned up a bit. And listen, hear me out. I still haven't played that shit, so I won't ride it like too hard. But I don't think any amount of new, like kind of your point that you're driving home is any amount of additional content is not an amends for a bad release, because the core fundamentals of the game aren't there. I think that it's a valid comparison, but the only difference would be in the sense that 76 is a live service game. So you can kind of expect it to be like an incomplete game on release, kind of like World of Warcraft almost.
But you say that, but that's also like a standard that was created by
the industry.
The industry, and especially studios like Bethesda,
right?
That said, like, on release, we're gonna, put buggy games out there.
Well,
and we're gonna, we're gonna exactly. I've said it in the past. They set a standard that other people said, okay, well, people accepted that, so we're gonna keep doing that.
Right. Yeah.
And, love it or hate it, that's kind of led to the thing that we're at now.
I think Bethesda saw what Rockstar was doing with GTA Online and said, "Yo, let me try and make some of that money."
Absolutely.
And that's why
they shot out a game in like 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. They saw Rockstar make $1 billion off of shark cards, and they said, "Oh, let me start selling caps. Yep. Take the caps."
They also they knew it was a bad call too, though, because of the reception of the game.
100%.
And that's what I was gonna say. It's like you defended it for its own reasons, mostly its ambitions.
Right. Yeah.
We all would love to have that Fallout multiplayer game. Like
most of what I was expressing was the expectation that they had, or the expectation, or what they had expected the audience, how they would respond to a game like this. I feel like they thought that we would treat it just like it was World of Warcraft,
or that they could hire someone to make the game within a year or two, the way that they had Obsidian make Fallout New Vegas, and somehow Fallout New Vegas became one of the best RPGs of all time, even though the circumstances would not usually breed that type of success. All those people just kind of put in a lot of work, a lot of crunch, and made this thing that you know, what even has some failed ambitions within itself, but like they just probably assumed, you know, with their track record that it'd be a lot easier to pull off than it really was. And it wasn't. And that's all I was saying. I was like, yeah, it's a thing that I've wanted forever too. You know, when Fallout 4 came out, like me and my best friend were playing it, you know, back to back, like with our TV set up, just like both going at it and then like checking in with each other. Like that it's the game that like we wanted to be able to play together that we couldn't, you know?
Exactly.
Like, but it's, I jumped into that game 76 with him. And we played for like maybe an hour or two, and we were kind of like, okay, man, I'll see ya. Like,
so tell me,
kind of didn't hit for me.
Tell me, what do you do in that? Like, I never seen it. Like, I've seen it, but I've never played. So like, what the fuck do you do when you spawn in? Like, what's the shtick?
That's a great question.
Man, I don't really remember.
Oh man,
it's not that bad.
It's not.
It's pretty unmemorable. It's just how I feel about it.
So no, like you're not like a vault dweller or nothing.
I think you start like naked or in like the basic vault suit. I'm pretty sure, but I'm pretty sure they also implemented they tried to make it into a BR game at like the Fortnite hype. They
did have that. I think they did have the arena mode or some shit.
I think was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, it's cringe. But I did want to bring up that he brought up Elder Scrolls Online,
because that has like a super cool dedicated fan base, and I don't know how Bethesda can fumble the bag with Fallout 76 when they also made Elder Scrolls Online.
Well, because they dedicated a lot of the like actual Elder Scrolls team to Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, I don't, like Louis was saying, I don't think that 76 really got what it needed.
They just farmed it out to some newbies.
Yeah, they tried to be like, who wants to be the next Obsidian? But with a live service game. And everyone was willing to be the bidder, which is, you know, that's standard.
Every studio wants to be the studio that's associated with the Fallout, series, just because they can say that they developed a Fallout game. Like, that just immediately brings their cachet out.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess, and this is obviously just anecdotal and due to my experience, but I played Elder Scrolls a year after release, or 2 years after release. So on release, much like 76, it was dog water. Apparently, that's what the community said. But the time I played, it was very standard and true to like the actual story or the stories that you experience while playing Elder Scrolls. And there's a lot of like familiarity with how the gameplay is. So I think it really is a true hybridization of, oh, I want to play Skyrim, or I want to play Oblivion, or I want to play Morrowind, but I want to play with my friends. And it really did step up to that level. Even till today, I think there was a DLC released like a month ago or 2 months ago.
Well, they just announced the Necrom expansion.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Which beautiful. I mean, they're consistent, and they're not. I mean, this is the only reason I bring up lore is because I'm a lore nerd. So this is a secondary or maybe even a primary reason of why I love the game so much. But they're not breaking outside of pre-established lore, and if they are creating something new, they're working with the team that created it in the first place.
Yeah, and I think that's like a good idea, like in general, for like games that like Fallout, like Elder Scrolls, where each iteration is going to take 5 to 6 years of game development time, is like to have something else people can play that has that same gameplay loop and style and the same central lore, essentially. But yeah, like maybe isn't exactly the same game, but that could fill in the gap. And like you say, a live service game could constantly be updated and keep people
up to date.
Yeah, and just like engaged in that universe, so that while you're waiting, essentially, you know, for the actual big episode to come out,
Elder Scrolls 6.
You can keep.
I was expecting to see that, or at least a little tease of Elder Scrolls 6.
No, Starfield, man. It's all Starfield.
Starfield only, baby.
Yeah.
We've talked about Starfield on here before, but that continues to look incredible. I'm just really glad to hear that it hasn't been delayed. It sounds like it's actually coming out this year.
September, boys. Yeah. Let's go. I'm excited. And I thought it was already delayed to November, so that was pleasant news when I realized that.
Dude, I just assumed, like they were slipping it in at the end.
When I was at the Game Awards at they did the Starfield soundtrack, and
you're
they showed
you're at the Game Awards concert at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like half expectant like Todd Howard to come out at the end and be like, "Well, welcome to my universe.
Oh,
This is Starfield. I hope you guys." And I was about to be like, "Yo, I'll stand up and scream." Like I'm not even lying to you. I fucking will stand up and scream for that, man, because that shit looks amazing. The space combat looks phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal. That shit looks really good.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like I'm not even a space like nerd. Like I liked Mass Effect. That's like the only game I could really think of where it was like futuristic space travel type RPG. I mean, I guess they're far and few between, realistically speaking.
I think Outer Worlds kind of proved like that it could be a pretty fun model. You know what I mean? For like a modern company to take on.
Yeah, I guess it was just how large the undertaking of Starfield was.
But like, it's also it's in some ways it's the type of thing that Mass Effect, like the opposite of a Mass Effect, but also what a Mass Effect would love to be. And it's just kind of cool to see it being realized at such a full scale. Yeah, and the idea that they're like going to be more beholden to RPG roots, and they've implemented a new dialogue system with points that makes every line you speak, essentially a weighted value in decision in the conversation. That brings role play right to the forefront. So it's just cool to see stuff like that, and in the right fashion. Like maybe Nintendo, they're not revealing too much. They're gonna wait, until it's like closer to release and let people kind of discover the stuff for themselves.
Right, which is the beauty of it. I mean, that's what I'm excited for, because like even with Skyrim when it came out 11 years ago now, I remember the excitement. Like I was like ready to get in and dive into that world and dive into Skyrim itself, because I remember in Oblivion, north of Bruma, you used to be able to walk onto the border of Skyrim and it would like show you on the map, and I would be like always trying to jump over type shit. And then when I finally could be there, I was honestly, I was hyped.
Shit.
Yeah. Wake up, you there, prisoner. I was like, yo, it's over with. Let's fucking go. It was wonderful. So I still have that same excitement for Starfield, and I've already been like theory crafting my headcanon for my character in fucking games a couple months out now. But
gonna be good, man. We'll definitely have to do a special on it. All right, I'm a quick fire a couple of these for you boys. From the Xbox games. Forza Motorsport.
Can't wait. I'm so excited.
You're a Forza guy?
Oh, I'm a big sim racing person. I love sim racing.
Go off real quick.
Yeah,
please.
I think it's going to be the Gran Turismo killer. I think this is the one, finally.
He's been telling me.
Gran Turismo, like
Gran Turismo is the
top
I
tier.
would say is like, well,
what is it like?
It's like the king of arcade sim racing on console. I would say Gran Turismo, that has like, that's the one everyone knows as far as like the racing games go. Gran Turismo, Need for Speed, like,
of course.
But Need for Speed's a more arcade driver.
I feel like Forza's been coming up though.
Forza with the Horizon series, they've been good, but that's more of a casual arcadey game. The motorsports are more of their hardcore, realistic sim games.
I see.
With the way Gran Turismo is now going to be in the Olympic esports, for motorsports in the Olympic esports, I think Forza's got to come in with the heat as well, because the driving model in Gran Turismo is really, really nice.
Wow.
Big racing sim guy here.
What do you think about the Gran Turismo movie?
So it's based off a true story.
Right?
I followed that when I was a kid, that whole little thing that went down with all of that. I can't remember names right now, but I remember hearing about it and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And they're making a movie about it, so that's really cool.
Yeah. It looks funny. Orlando Bloom's in it, dude.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I'm not too sure what the casting choices for it. It's a little out there, but
it looks like it could be fun. Orlando Bloom. He just he has aged so poorly. not poorly. Okay, I said that wrong. He used to be like the poster child, like handsome guy of Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah. He's just like not that. He looks fine.
Now he's dusty.
It's just like he got like a little bit of aging on him. And like he immediately fell out of fashion in roles. I feel like
what you're saying is
he just couldn't
Hollywood retired his ass.
He didn't go full Travolta.
He's in Gran Turismo now.
Yeah, he plays a driver coach. He plays a dude who sits in a chair and looks at a screen all day.
He used to be fucking Pirates of the Caribbean and fucking
What happened to fucking Keira Knightley though? Yeah. Like what happened to any of those?
Keira Knightley, she's still.
Oh, actually, she
still
was in a
pull
couple
it.
Things.
You know,
I'm capping. Yeah, but yeah, I've never been a racing guy, but. The last one I played was Midnight Los Angeles.
Midnight Club Los Angeles. Yeah. That's a Rockstar.
Oh, yeah, that is Rockstars. Yeah. Okay.
That was my shit.
We got a Payday 3. Any Payday heads in here?
I think too late.
It's been 10 years,
right?
Way
too late to capitalize off the success of 2.
Well, in 2, they just kept selling forever and just putting out more DLCs. And exactly, it seems like the type of thing where they're like Overwatch 2, where they're like, we need another Overwatch. Like someone on a board room was like, why don't we have a new Overwatch out right now?
Overwatch 2, anybody?
I don't know. Are they just kind of making a new game because they feel like they need to?
Yeah.
Because it has been
it's a
10
money
years.
grab. It's a nostalgia money grab, and if they really wanted to capitalize on it, they should have done it 5 years ago.
True. Absolutely.
It's probably going to look amazing though, and I'm going to buy it. So take my money, Microsoft.
There's another Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, take my money. Take my money.
They've got a Dune expansion.
Sim guy.
Look kind of cool. It all. Persona 3 and 5 remakes. I haven't played those.
I'll have to play them.
City Skylines 2. That's the first one's pretty solid.
That's also gonna pirate that one.
Yeah. We do support. We don't support pirating on this channel. Actually, JK.
Oh wow, man. Yeah. Now you have to unpirate that.
Oh, good thing it's not out yet.
He doesn't have his pirate hat. That's cool.
Is it valid? Is that?
Let's fucking go, baby.
How you feeling on Avowed?
I feel fucking hot for it. I feel like it's gonna be like if I had to steal Critical's moist meter, that shit's gonna be fucking wet. You dig what I'm saying?
Which one's Avowed again? Forgetting real quick.
My poor boy.
Give me a quick.
All right, so set in the Divinity universe, which is an existing turn-based strategy party management game, I guess I could describe as. It's similar to Pathfinder or D&D lore, and it's made by Obsidian. I'm pretty sure.
Yes, my boys.
Yeah, so it's pretty much going to be first person only, I think. Okay. Maybe a third person support.
Yeah, me only, man.
Only me. Only
me person.
Only this person. But in the trailer, I did see magic guns. One, people were a little disappointed by the cartooniness of the graphics. They thought it was going to be more polished. But honestly, I'm fine with it. I thought it looked okay.
Not everything needs to be hella realistic.
Yeah. What I am worried...
seriously. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I love that more... still use the full 1080p, or 4K resolution, but round it out in cartoonish features and paint it in your own, art style. I mean,
Borderlands 3...
But
they did a good job
honestly,
speaking of that,
the visual style of Borderlands 3 is probably one of the most impressive and distinct things about those games for sure.
But it did kind of give me that. What I'm worried about is an outer world scenario.
Right.
They have a pre-existing world and lore to go piggyback off of. So I hope that it's not a small scale story, a drop in the ocean type thing. Because that's the thing that kind of kills games for me, where I feel like, oh, this is really it. This is the level of depth that we get to experience.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing though. I'm all for new ideas too, though, because it feels like so many things have to be tied to something else that already exists. Whether it's a remake of another property, I don't know, all the horror game, video game adaptations that they have, the Friday the 13th and stuff like that, where it's it's just, it sucks to have to make something to get funding for something and to have to, make it a property thing, like to make it a Star Wars game, even though you want to do something else like with it. Like, I don't know. It's hard to make games. It costs a lot of fucking money.
It's true.
And like even independently it takes a lot of time. It's just, feels like a lot of things are like IP tie-ins, like especially in the Ubisoft presentation. I was just like, Avatar, Star Wars, Prince of Persia. Like they're just like
speaking of
going
Avatar game
there.
incoming in December.
That's what I'm saying. These games,
Big
like
facts,
these are all games we should cover individually too. But like Ubisoft's whole presentation was licensed games, right? Like that was the first focus point,
right?
Beyond anything else, original. So I support a game like Avowed.
Whose fucking idea was it? I'm piggybacking off your board of directors metaphor earlier. Who the fuck was on the Ubisoft board and they're like, hey, we should do another Prince of Persia game?
Well, dog,
make it a side scroller.
Did you see the Prince of Persia setup? Like any of the footage for this game?
No, is it crazy?
It's a side scroller,
So
right?
yeah, the Rayman Origins team is
Oh,
making this,
okay.
Which that's an incredible side scroller.
That's a breath of relief.
And
honestly.
exactly, it actually like is an interesting twist on Prince of Persia because it's pretty much always been a 3D, like a fully 3D.
Yeah, it's
explorable
like
world.
an action
Yeah,
adventure.
and so like to take a dimension out, but like to like root back on the fundamentals of like movement.
It's nice.
Kind of makes sense for that.
I mean,
that
it
franchise
might be
too.
like that's the main
more
thing I was
dungeon
worried
crawl.
about is that I'd
a more what?
More like
sorry,
dungeon
go ahead.
crawler vibes for sure.
Right,
yeah.
What's the game I'm thinking? Dead Cells. I feel like it's gonna be played more like that, like fast paced, like just a lot going on the screen at once.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Castlevania vibes.
Castlevania,
maybe.
definitely.
Or Metroidvania genre, I should say.
Yeah.
But that's good. I mean, that's a breath of fresh air and a relief.
I know,
because-
which is crazy because I saw Prince of Persia. I got to the direct later, so I was looking at the timestamps.
Right, yeah.
And I was just like, oh fuck this, and then I was like, oh wait, no,
Yeah.
this is great.
I thought
I
I'd be,
immediately had that same 180.
I thought I'd be looking at a Jake Gyllenhaal mocap.
Yep.
And it's Assassin's Creed Origins graphics. With
Too
fucking
many times we've been burned, man.
We're not doing this again, guys.
Yeah, I mean that Avatar game looks fine.
Looks cool.
I'm just not that invested in the universe, to be honest.
I think it's-
how much Avatar do you really need? Do I need 5 movies and a game?
I
I
need more.
do, man. I'm personally.
I really love those the
Bro,
first two.
Give me an Avatar game where I can make my own Navi, bro. Whew.
Yeah, and then
I'm
I'm
on
gonna
that.
transfer my consciousness into that Navi. Use the tree of life to like connect myself into that.
See.
Yeah.
Leave this mortal coil
Yep.
for my
Through
Navi body.
through my VR, my Facebook TM headset.
Okay, so every Navi has like one piece of like human clothing, essentially. So like, what piece of clothing would you keep to like signify like your personality?
Dude, socks.
I was just about to say that
Socks?
shit.
Some socks.
Dude, I'm gonna be fucking naked, like fucking
Yep.
slinging my shit, running around. But I'm gonna be silent because I have socks on. I could hella curl my toes into the earth. It would be chill.
I was thinking like a sick jacket or like even a vest, like a cool long vest with like pockets and some sewn in shit or something like.
I could see that.
Something that would work with the length.
For the characteristic drip. I guess actually, for those reasonings, I would do a hat.
Yeah,
like
like
a
a
hell-
beanie
I
or
would go with
something.
glasses.
Nah, I think I'd do a hella big, wide brimmed hat, like a Yankee full brim. Like a, you dig what I'm saying?
I like it.
Or maybe a Yankee no brim, like just chop the brim off. I'll have a little cap.
No cap, bro.
No kizzy, sorry guys. Okay. Ubisoft. What else?
Ubisoft.
What else do they have cooking?
The Star Wars game. They're doing an outlaw bandit
That shit
style
looks-
game.
I-
It looks like Far Cry Star Wars.
It looks
would
kinda-
be
better
the,
be
you know, the
good.
quick label.
It looks
Fuck
kind of
with
hot.
my Star Wars.
It looks kind of hot.
They're doing a little bit of the. It's funny. I would almost say Uncharted / Naughty Dog kind of style. Like third person games.
Yeah.
Little
Camera
bit
view.
of stealth, but like it can evolve into like combat scenes if you kind of mess up the stealth. It's interesting because like I don't know. It's like Naughty Dog just makes original games with that style, and other people just take licensed properties and they're like, let's just riff on this, like the EA Jedi Survivor, Jedi.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure
like that. That's an Uncharted riff as well.
I'm sure it came down to, should we do a Star Wars roguelike, which is pretty much Jedi Survivors,
right,
for the most part?
Yeah.
Or, should we do Uncharted Star Wars with a smuggler?
But it's also
which is refreshing.
It's just part of how the game industry works. Is people borrow ideas and concepts from each other, and they're constantly inspired and then trying to twist it. And that's why I liked the at least the first iteration of EA's Jedi game. What is it? Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought they did enough to make it their own.
Right. Yeah.
But. It's interesting.
I think
I hope it's good. I
haven't had any Star Wars in a minute, and I'm glad that it's not like a Force-based.
Well, it's definitely interesting because EA had the license forever, and they actually didn't make enough games for Disney to be happy. They had like the exclusivity to it. They ended up canceling more games than they put out with the Star Wars like name, which is at least it's good to hear some things were bad and they didn't let just kind of hit the markets to dilute the brand, because that's what I was just complaining about kind of. But yeah, I think anything else from Ubisoft? Did you guys see? I don't think
X Defiant could be the next COD killer, potentially for the 50,000th time.
You think COD's still alive enough to kill it?
Yes, he's also a shooter guy as well.
COD is MW2 flopped hard. They did not listen to what the fans wanted, and X Defiant did. They made a game based around quick, fast-paced movement with not like trying to be a tactical shooter, but also be they're being an arcade shooter, and so I think it's gonna be a breath of fresh air for a lot of players. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I think
that was Ubisoft.
Yeah, okay. And they're using proper like IPs from like Splinter Cell and all of like their different IP Division. They're using all of that as like the operators for the game. So it's like a shooter, a first person based around like the Ubisoft
Splinter Cell stuff.
All of that.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's like enough. The team play. In tight squads kind of like coordinates a lot of people to, stay with their friends and all get good and invested in it, which is like how you build real communities, I feel like, around those games.
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think there's skill-based matchmaking in it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think they are doing the classic Call of Duty MW2. You get matched up against a pro player. That sucks, bro.
Right.
You're about to get your shit pushed in. Which that's how COD
like go disconnect.
Disconnect.
And,
you gotta leave or
something else. Or
hang out. That's how you get good, dude.
Good. Exactly.
I do want to shift to Nintendo. Did you guys watch their direct at all?
I did not.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty sparse for things coming out this year. Next year they announced like a Princess Peach game. As well as Luigi Mansion remaster, and the big one, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is like the RPG. That was like that's not the RPG. Okay. That's the one coming out this year. But Super Mario Brothers Wonder, again, another side scroller, looks like similar to Prince of Persia, where it's just like they're trying new weird things with the platforming, like.
That's kind of how they did Mario vs. Sonic Olympics 2022, I believe. So there's like a side menu in the game that you can revert it to the classic Super Nintendo graphics, to where it's just like 64-bit effectively, and it's like a top down or a side view on the Olympic games that you play, pretty much.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, but like I mean, at least for this one, it's like. It looks similar to the new Super Mario Brothers like Wii U games. Yes. They were on the Wii, they were on the Wii U, and then they put one of them on the Switch, I think too. But it's a twist of that style though. There's like these wonder like berries or power ups that you get, and it like switches your abilities for like a section of the level.
Right.
And then you go back to kind of like the normal stuff after there. So it's like it feels like they're almost bringing some of the Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario Odyssey style of just like throwing new game mechanics at you every level into the 2D side-scrolling Mario format.
Right. Yeah.
So it feels like a fun evolution for that. You know, it's just like a surprise. I don't think anyone knew it was really being developed. And then this year there's the Super Mario RPG remake.
Yep.
It was like an old game on the was it the SNES or the N64? Like it was something old. I never played it. I've played like other games in the Super Mario RPG, like line.
Yeah. Paper Mario, stuff like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it was just really cool to see this announced. It looks actually pretty.
Yeah, it looks
pretty
really
damn
cool.
fun.
I might have to re-pick up a Switch for that.
Yeah. Definitely would. There's also a Detective Pikachu sequel.
I'm a Pokemon shill, so that's also gonna get me to.
Did you ever play the first Detective Pikachu?
No,
game?
I did not.
I watched the movie. I didn't watch.
Yeah,
I did not play the game. Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh yeah, you didn't know about the game?
No.
The Pikachu in there is more of a Danny DeVito type voice.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah,
that's hard. I like that.
It's pretty fun. I'm like I've definitely watched some clips online and read about it, but like it just seems like a fun series in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think only other thing I have is really Spider-Man 2.
I got one
from Sony.
I got a fun one. I got a rare one.
You want to do that before Spider-Man?
Yeah, it'll be a quick one. Lies of P. Have you heard of it?
No.
So I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's official or not, but I'm pretty sure it's like Lies of Pinocchio. That's like the full thing.
Oh wait, I think I heard of that.
Yeah. So you know how I was just talking shit about Jack and the Beast.
Lies of Pinocchio.
Yeah. So pretty much like, PC and Xbox never got a Bloodborne. And I'm like a big Souls series guy, so I feel like I was missing a part of my trophy collection. And then this game came.
Pinocchio Born.
Oh, it's as close as I'll get to Bloodborne. So it's like Victorian steampunk occult England, it seems, that has been driven into a citywide or countrywide madness in which Pinocchio was. I think he's still a boy. He's a boy in this.
Pinocchio.
Okay. Pinocchio. But Geppetto trained him to defeat monsters, it appears.
Pinocchio, please. You must become Bloodborne.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly what happened. And, instead of wanting to become a real boy, he wanted to become a real nigga.
Damn, son.
Yep. Hey, it'd be like that.
I can't make up dialogue for that.
I know. You can't make this shit
canceled.
up. No, it's all good, dude. You got the pass.
Geppetto, you suck a dick.
But I don't know. Yeah, I've seen they released a demo actually recently, and it appears pretty good. Customization looks beautiful. Apparently, like the game is very silent. Like throughout, it's a very silent ambiance and environment. The only time that you feel safe is at like the only home base location you have is a hotel where there's also the shop where you can buy different items and stuff. And it's like the person reviewing the demo I'd been watching, he was like, it was the only time that I was like, wow, the music in this game is nice. And then I realized there's been no music up until this point, really. And I was like, fuck, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, bro.
So, it's definitely, it could either be a big hit and people really love it, and it could kind of have its own Souls-like cult fan base, or it could be another one of those, much like, and this is a good callback, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. Shout out to Team Ninja who made that game. I tried my best to get into it, and I anticipated it would be, something crazy, but not. It just didn't itch my Souls-like scratch that I have. But hopefully this game will, considering I hadn't gotten a chance to play Bloodborne. So, yeah.
Nice.
Forward to that one. But Spider-Man 2.
Yep.
Spidey-Man 2 from Insomniac Studios,
that
baby.
That shit.
They're
bringing me
so
back.
good.
It's bringing me back
Miles
to play
Morales
Spider-Man.
is in for real this time.
Yep.
Dual protagonists.
Yeah, I haven't
Is there
played.
co-op in this, or am I?
No, that would be too cool.
That'd be
Yeah.
insane. That'd be
awesome.
because Gotham Knights couldn't pull it off. Like,
No.
No.
There's no way this game could do it.
There's like you would need a supercomputer
PS6.
to get that shit running
PS6,
co-op.
baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's make it happen, baby.
I will say I haven't played
Spider-Man 4. Four Spider-Man at once.
Dude,
Oh boy, you get to play
I'm
as
calling
Tobey
it.
Maguire.
do you remember
all
that
the
game,
boys.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Pretty much just make that with the Spider-Verse.
That was Ultimate Alliance was great.
Yeah, I don't know
That
why
was
they haven't
fire.
remade that IP.
They did remake the first Ultimate Alliance actually,
When?
like on PC.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's out.
Oh, I need to.
Oh, I'm gonna have
It, was
to
like, it
tap
kind
it.
of
I'm
came
gonna have
and
to
went.
get
I
that.
think
That was
I think
such a good
there
game
was something-
series. Holy shit.
something sucked about it or something.
Oh,
But I think
shit.
think
Did
it
they
was
get
like
hit with
It's
the
always
I think it was
something.
I think it was a
optimization?
decent port though.
Oh.
Right.
But I forget. I don't know what the fuck was up with that. But there's some reason why that didn't take off.
Such a good game. Oh my god. But not to
Yeah,
sidetrack
that's
from
nostalgia
the
heavy.
Yeah, not to sidetrack from Spider-Man, but yeah, Spider-Man is going to be a banger. I've
it's gonna
not
be
purchased or played a Spider-Man since PlayStation 2 days.
Yeah, no, I played both of them, 100%ed both of them. I love, great game.
There you go,
Insomnia
yeah.
killed it.
But like the Miles Morales expansion, is that what you mean by both of them?
Yeah, I've played both of
Gotcha.
them.
Yeah, I still haven't played that expansion. Is it like half a game or what? Is it or is it like
no? It's a full game.
Really?
It's just the story is nowhere near as gripping as
okay,
the
but it's
first
still
one.
like lengthy.
Yeah, no, it has some. It's definitely shorter.
Yeah.
but it's just the story is way faster paced and it's not as gripping.
For sure.
Yeah, so it makes it feel like it's super short because
Yeah.
you just want it to be over because you don't care about any of the characters involved.
Fair enough. Yeah, hopefully they can rein it back in for the.
Oh, they definitely
like
will.
his storyline. Because the first one was incredible, and I love how much they took their time to build. Doc Ock and that.
Yeah, exactly. The betrayal and all.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautifully like Craven. Oh, all of this.
Yeah, Craven,
Oh my
Venom.
God.
I mean, it's cool because like Venom seems like such a curveball. No one had heard of Venom yet, but like it makes sense as far as gameplay progression goes because there's a lot of new mechanics they can bring in with Venom.
So
Which like is the right way they should be thinking about making a Spider-Man game, right? Like not just thinking about okay, how can we adapt Spider-Man to make our favorite story? Because there's so many Spider-Man adaptations out there.
Yeah.
we don't need a specific story. We need what's like the best game experience,
and from what I've seen on the game, it looks like Norman Osborn gets infected with the Venom symbiote before everyone else. Did you see that?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen. So it's like that's a really interesting take on the Venom symbiote.
Well, just
I haven't
or
seen
like
that
awakening something in
Yeah.
Norman when the symbiote's off him.
before. Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that was really an interesting turn. I seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have high expectations for that one
Very,
as
very
well.
high expectations for that.
I actually think I have one more. Does anyone else have anyone?
I was just gonna say Craven seems like a pretty good pull for this series. They're doing like a lot of tech based weapons still,
Right.
which kind of makes sense for his like hunters enough. And like it works. And again, it's just video
Craven
game
movie.
logic. You need good villains, so and like enemies to beat up. And yeah, him having his little mob, kind of like it seems like they're hunting the lizard. So like the fact that he's not even there to hunt Spider-Man is kind of like fun.
I think they're doing more of like the Ultimate Spider-Man run with Craven for sure.
Right.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure they're rebooting the Ultimate Spider-Man series right now in the current Marvel universe. So it's really interesting everything going on. It's going to all probably tie together in one way or another.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Definitely looking forward to that.
Should be fun. Yeah, you said you had one more?
Yeah, also, is that direct to PC? Does anyone know? Or
No, baby.
No, gonna wait
The first
a year and a
the
half.
first Spider-Man just hit PC like last year though. So
But they did turn Miles
yeah, yeah.
Morales around within like a year and a half.
yeah, a lot of the exclusives are hitting PC now because
But they were on the same
they
engine.
just want to get money out of people.
That's
At
fair.
the end of the day. Like software sales are, just as big of a part of the company.
Right. Yeah. That's fair, I guess. I mean, we had to wait for like God of War 2. So
yeah, I can't wait for God of War 2 to come out on PC as well. I have not seen any gameplay from God of War 2 at all. I don't know any of the story. I've avoided it all.
I think the PS5 games are going to take a little longer to hit PC just because they're console sellers, right? And that's the thing is all the PS4 games are no longer console sellers. The console's been sold. So they're trying to extend the life out of these like games, and maybe even get you on
2 months ago.
Right. Like if you check out, the first Spider-Man game on PC and then the second one hits PS5, you might go buy a PS5.
True.
Like that's what they're thinking.
Yeah, that's how they've always staged their releases with consoles.
So I wouldn't hold your breath on a year and a half turnover or anything like that. Yeah. But for like companies like Rockstar, probably they'll still do something like that,
right?
Where Rockstar wants to milk out to sales, so they'll be scummy like that and delay their version. But like they're never going to make their PC base wait that long because that's where they make so much of the bread and butter.
GTA 6 is for sure going to be direct to PC.
Yeah,
100,000%.
Has to be.
They can't miss out on that portion of the market.
GTA 5, it took them
it took a year.
Yeah,
it took a year.
That's
I'm saying it could take a year. Even Red Dead 2 took a year.
That's
true. They sold the exclusive rights to Sony.
But Starfield
and Sony had it
going to be
before
no disc.
Xbox.
Starfield no disc.
That's wild. Do you know that have they announced a download size at all?
I don't think so.
All of it.
I'm sure it's fucking everything.
Take if you have space, we want all of it.
Yeah.
What, we're talking 80 gigs plus?
Oh, that's light. That's a light game now, bro.
Well, most games you do have to download a ton of assets for, anyways, so it's not fully surprising. It's just it's always interesting though when you ship a box with just a code in it,
Yeah.
Because I don't know, we're in a world where the physical
you don't even own the game.
Valuable.
You just own a license to the game at this point.
You can get a watch too.
And exactly you only have access to the most updated version of the game too. Like when you think about it, like there's no when you have the disc, you theoretically can go back to the gold version that was first minted on there. Yeah. Even if it doesn't have the day one patch, like it's somewhat playable, right?
Yeah. That is actually an interesting point. I'll still play the shit out of it though. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it dearly.
There's a way if you have Cyberpunk through GOG, you can go and play the day one release of Cyberpunk.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I also had a rip of day one Cyberpunk, and so I was able to play that and then play the newest version. That was really cool.
I see. Yeah, that's probably nice to compare.
Night and day.
I was gonna say, Jay, for our gaming resolutions, just to check in. I just have to bring it up because I did finish Breath of the Wild.
Let's go.
That was my resolution for the year. Nice. I've been putting it off since I played it on the Wii U.
And you're on to
reset
Tears.
The game.
You're on to Tears of the
Kingdom.
I'm
on to Tears
right?
properly. I've been in Tears for like 2 weeks. So thank you, gentlemen.
Let's go.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good games need to be played, boys.
Yes. It's incredible, and maybe there will be a day I go back to Breath of the Wild, but Tears feels like it has so much expression in it. It's gonna be another 100 hours before that I hit that point.
Motherfuckers are building Gundams.
Yeah.
Yep. Day one they were doing that shit.
Yep.
Daniel, I think you've met Daniel before.
I know Dan. I know the Dan man.
I know Dan man. He's discovering before he beats the game, he's discovering every location, discovering every shrine.
Yeah. Every well.
Yeah,
every
collecting.
Cave.
What's the little seed? Like you have to pick.
Korok seeds.
Yeah, he wants to find every single one of those.
In the last game, there were 999 Korok seeds, and if you got them all, listen. If you got them all, they gave you a golden poop. That was it.
What?
Your award was a turd. They literally were like,
awesome.
Why the fuck did you do that?
That's fucking awesome.
You're an idiot.
That is wild,
dude. It's the completionist in him. I respect it.
You gotta get a nut. Like,
that's Daniel Long for you right there.
Yep, it is D Long, dude.
I remember Assassin's Creed 2 was a game I 99.9%ed, and then I looked at like the last trophy I needed, and it was like collect all, and it was like 200 feathers, and I was
I remember.
Oh no! I was like, no. I would say, I'm not. I'm okay. I'm hanging it up.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta let the dream die.
Yeah, that was my last achievement hunt as well. I remember that.
Especially when I was like, 70. I already got every treasure chest in the city.
Yep.
In every city. Ubisoft, you put too many fucking damn collectibles in your games. Shit. Jesus Christ.
The good old days, though.
Good old times. Well, I don't know. For me, for the rest of the year, I don't know if I have too many crazy resolutions. But I will say this. I think this doing this has kind of changed the way I play games a little bit and encouraged me to kind of pick up some other things. And I feel like I always fall in and out of gaming, and it's at least when I can talk about some games for this, I feel like, maybe I'm it's for something. It's get some value out of it.
It's a good justification.
No, but I've been enjoying gaming a lot this year. Like I played Disco Elysium, which has been on my watch list, my game backlog forever.
That's exactly what I was about to bring up. No, I did not defeat my resolution of finally completing a 4X strategy game.
That's totally fine.
They take fucking forever. But I did. Disco Elysium reignited my passion for, I stayed up till 4 a.m.
The first time you played it?
Well, as soon as because I hadn't gone on to Steam for days. This is like a month ago, or probably like a month and a half ago to be exact. But I never realized, I seen you bought it for Averick, and I was like, nice, Averick got it, he could play it. But I never checked my thing, and I was like, dude, Louis bought it for me like days ago. I was like, let's fucking go. Thank you, by the way. I don't know if I even said anything.
It was on sale. I got it for the homies. I was loving it so much. I was like, I need other people to experience this.
I feel that.
And I was playing it on Steam Link, so I was like in my bed on my phone.
Yeah.
I had my headphones in.
That's a perfect Steam Link game too,
dude. And like the intro to that game, like the auditory and like the dark place, pretty much with the hallucination.
Yeah, you're basically like you're nothing. You're in the void, and it's just like voices talking.
Dude,
to you.
That in my headphones, I was like, all right, Louis on some shit right here. Like that kind of kickstarted my like need to like, and don't get me wrong, I haven't finished.
Yeah, I know that's the beauty. It's like you're inspired by it too.
But it's like, it got me going to like, dude, I want to fucking run through game. Like I want to actually get back into like, not only just immersing myself or playing a game because I have the expectation of the immersion being good.
Yep.
But I just want to go for it and like actually enjoy the experience. Like play something that I can that I'm not min-maxing like outside of the game, man. And I'm like, bro, fuck it, let's just do this shit.
And it's funny because when I first played Disco Elysium, it was like a year ago, at this time, like around this time, it was like the same month of like March, basically.
Yeah.
And like it was crazy because like I had a profound experience with it for like the day or two I played it, and then for whatever reason I didn't pick it back up. And then I got back into it. And then it also, to me, cured a lot of, like, the things that I was talking about. Like, what made me think about min-maxing and just kind of, like, not enjoying going into games for things other than the experience. Yeah. Being like, I need to be perfect at this game and, like, stressing over things if it doesn't run right and save scumming to do those things. Where it's just, like, you should enjoy the failure. Like, if you fall down a hill, climb up it again. Right. Like, it'll be fun, and like, instead of just loading to a time before you fell off that hill, right. Well, that's like sometimes you just got to embrace it.
Yeah. I have a perfect example for that.
And that's
actually.
life too,
Yeah. And especially for context for you, because you hadn't played the game.
Yeah.
I think you'd fuck with it heavy. One, because you could punch the shit out of like, I punched the fuck out of this kid that was talking shit to me. I was like,
hell yeah.
I'm a cop. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, you can't talk to me like that. Stop referring to yourself in the third person. I fucking punched the shit out of him. But like, secondly, you're talking about like you're talking about how your buddy said like something about dice implementation and the risk involved in
There's
games.
dice in that game.
So, dude, as soon as I started, I was like, what do I do? It was like, ask me to find my clothes. I was in my underwear. So I was like, okay. My tie was on the ceiling fan, so I was like,
you wake up after like a bender.
Yeah, you're on.
You don't remember anything about yourself.
Essentially, how my last D&D character started.
Yeah, and you're like a police detective on a murder case.
Oh wait, this sounds hella fun.
It's incredible, and there's really great politics shown throughout.
Okay,
The world is like really great too.
Interesting.
Like the lore is really good.
And when Louis was talking about like wanting to save scum, bro, like I probably have had the worst beginning run. Like I almost had a heart attack when I tried to jump up there.
Wait, your necktie is on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And like it's like you can jump up to get it, you know, and like you said, you can miss.
And I heard, I love
like
the
if you're
little
not acrobatic.
animation. It's not like die. It's a little revolver clicking almost like and then you'll hear it and it won't really be apparent. And then it'll just be like, you feel a pang in your heart, like 2 rocks beating in your chest. And I was like, yo, what the fuck?
The narrator goes hard.
Yeah,
bro. They have tons of
awesome.
voiced. All the skills are voiced.
Okay.
And you put points into different skills.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then like the voices basically like, you know, the higher their point values, the more often they come in because they pass checks, like passive checks. And so like you kind of have to trust, you know, not just your empathy, but also like your sense of authority or like, you know, your logic. Like you have all these different voices, sometimes giving you contradicting information, and but also different people, you know, like fall, you know, are you can use aggression on some people and you can use empathy on someone else, right? Yeah. Like there's a diverse palette of people.
Yeah, I think you would like it. It's a good game to like just like go home. You just immediately sit down and play it, and you just play till like 3 and 4.
And I burned through it. Like when I got into the mystery proper, it's like it's a really solid like something I'll bring up that like the game developers talked about. There's this other game developer who pitched a perfect video game that he called One City Block. And the idea is like you would just perfectly simulate everything within one city block.
Oh, that would be
right.
Awesome.
Like the idea of like an ideal video game that like is, you know, it's a full simulation, but it's like a, you know, a world like of a small scope, but has infinite details in it. Mm-hmm. But anyways, Disco Elysium does something similar where it's like it's just looking at one town and kind of like a section of a town. And I feel like it just really encapsulates that idea of it, of a small community, and your choices really do feel like they could have a big impact here, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, I agree, but that was a long transition from my gaming resolution, but and I think I started with Dwarf Fortress. That was the tricky part. Dwarf Fortress is probably the most intricate simulation game, strategy game I've ever really had to play. But nonetheless, the final game I did want to talk about real briefly is Armored Core 6 from Software. Now, I watched a whole hour and 49 minute long video about the entire series of Armored Core, and it's fucking insane. But like, I think my synopsis is that every game from Armored Core 1 to now has just improved on the same system and like made it more intricate and more interactive. So pretty much for those that aren't initiated, Armored Core 6 is going to be a mecha fighting game, pretty much. I'm assuming the plot is that you are a Raven pilot. So these are like badass space mecha pilots that are hired by private companies to go on missions, more often than not to fight other Raven pilots or other, I think they're called ACs, Armored Control Units. But you can customize your mecha from pretty much every aspect. And every aspect has a balance or a stat tied to it that will be shown in the way that your mecha plays effectively. So pretty much, and when you go into these 3D spaces, I don't know if it will be instant missions or you'll be going along a physical path, much like other From Software games. I'm assuming it's mission instance based and there'll be a hub of some sort for your player character. But the maps are multiversal, meaning, well, not multiversal, but multi-layered, I should say, meaning that there are multiple ways that you can travel to the destined quest point. So you can pretty much, if you go for an infinite flight mecha that really has no weaponry except for a sniper rifle, you can play that and kind of go for an infiltrator style mech, or you can go full, like you can have quadrupedal legs with dual bazookas and an energy sword. It really varies. And I think I saw some boss gameplay, which really reminded me of Souls because of the scale and the epicness of the battle itself. Like it was a lone mecha against this giant ancient system of some sort, which looked to be fucking cool. So outside of that, I mean, I've never even played the games. They're very niche, and I didn't even know From Software made a mecha game. But and I'm not even a mecha fanboy. That's the crazy part. But like, I'm pretty hyped, and I think it'll be a nice, fun new experience to play this year.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to Armored Core 6.
All right.
Anyone else?
No.
Think we're good?
No, I think that's all the upcoming stuff. I mean, we talked about some other games too in our first part of this video.
Right, yeah.
I'm sure it's hilarious how some of those predictions have turned out, though.
No, for real. I agree. It wasn't interesting. I mean, a lot of things flopped, I'm not going to lie.
That's the thing. Is
most of the things flopped.
Most of the things we talked about flopped.
But I sure hope
that's just the trend now.
Yeah, I sure hope that everything we spoke about today does well. Because you guys will carry me through this toxic cycle of shitty relationships with bad games.
Yep.
So
we love and hate the industry, you know?
Yep,
that's why we're here.
Yep, that's why we're in this motherfucking loft. And speaking of that, thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Kanoa. Do you want to shout out your new channel that's in the making?
Yeah, F1 o'clock.
Yep.
F1 o'clock.
All about F1, the most informed F1 guy I know. Yes, so make sure you guys tap in, like and sub all of his videos, and I'll make sure to see you guys soon.
Like and subscribe to this video.
Exactly.
Check me out.
Like and sub. Yep. Hey, and shout out to Cinema Span.
You know it.
Check that shit out. Love you guys. Peace.